My plan today is we're going to do the review notes. We're going to talk about the test topic. The test is a week from today, I believe. Yeah, on the block day. Then we're going to do quizzes on your program. You know what that is? Like the Kahoot kind of thing. It's on domain and range and whether or not something is a function. Because those things are not in our review notes because that's chapter 1. And then you're going to work on the team test the rest of the period with your group. And I'm going to stamp during the team test. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So let's start with this. Chapter 2 review notes, find the slope. So this is where we started the chapter off and we made slope triangles. And we colored them in. No, you don't need to color it in on your review notes. You could just shade it with your pencil. Guys, Sam, why are you not on the correct page in your packet? Find it, please. Okay, and we counted the boxes for the height. So the height in this triangle is 1. And the base is 5. So the slope is rise over run. However, hold on, I made that a little too close. However, if I cover up this side, I see that my arrow is going downhill, so it should be -1/5. We've had 2 quizzes now, and a lot of people are doing the slope perfectly, but forgetting the negative every single time. So I'm going to ask you to slow down on these and make sure that you decide if the slope is positive or negative. Okay, now number 2 is flat. So the slope is 0. No calculations, no triangle. You could just say that it's 0. You don't really even have to show your work. What would it be if the line was vertical instead of horizontal? Undefined, right? Horizontal is 0. And if it was vertical like this, it would be undefined. So 0, undefined. Okay. Maybe we'll have an undefined one down here. Find the slope of the line through each pair of points. Okay, so this requires a formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that would be something I would make sure to put on my note card for my test. Even if I was really good at these, sometimes when you start to take a test, your brain just goes like, was it Y's? Was it X's? I don't remember. So this is why we have a note card. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. M equals Y2 is -11 minus Y1 is 6. So Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Usually people do this pretty well, but then they have some kind of issue with subtraction. So I say go slow. Make sure that if you don't know the answer, type it in the calculator. It's okay. -11 minus 6 is -17. And -15 minus 19 is -34. And this is kind of a hard one. Does anybody know what 17 divided by 34 is? Do you know that 17 times 2 is 34? Yeah. So we're going to reduce. And this becomes +1/2. Okay, so let's talk about the positive. -17, -34. The negatives cancel out. Negative divided by negative is a positive. And then 17 and 34 are both divisible by 17, which is really weird for us. We don't usually work with the 17, but it's okay. I just have this feeling that number 4 is going to be undefined. Did anybody do this problem already? Is it undefined? You know what? You guys make my day. However, you're supposed to wait for me to do the review notes. Just say it. Okay. Y2 is 13 minus Y1. Make sure that you're really careful here. 13 minus negative 10. X2 minus X1. We don't even really need to do the top, but what do I do when it's minus a negative? Mike? Yes. So 13 over 0. Okay, you cannot divide by 0. So this is undefined. And what this means is those two dots, if you connected them with a ruler, would make a vertical line. Yes, honey. Yes, you may. Before we move on, does anyone have anything that they want to ask or talk about from numbers 1 through 4? Yeah.
I know it doesn't really matter, but
Oh, it's 23.
yeah.
That does matter. It does matter. I mean, it doesn't actually, but it does because I'm a perfectionist. Gotta watch me. I'm wily in the morning. I made 3 tiny mistakes like that in math 1 the other day. But luckily, Matthew sits right next to me. He fixed all of it. Okay. I told him it's like not gonna lose your seat ever because you have to fix all of my dumb 8:30 in the morning errors. Okay. Now, number 5, sketch the graph of each line. Okay, so M in this case is -4 and B is 2. Everybody good with that? Okay, and we start with B. So B is the y-intercept. So that's going to be here up to. And then slope is always rise over run. So when it's a whole number, I put it over 1 just so that I can see the rise and the run. And this is negative, so I'm going to go down and right instead of up and right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then I like to backtrack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And Sam saw the future coming and got rulers, which was very smart. I didn't know that you could see the future, Sam. It's a talent. Could you tell me when to play the lottery? That would be great. I don't play the lottery though because I understand math. Dang it. The probability of winning is so absolutely tiny. It's not worth their money. Okay, next one. Number 6. M is -3 over 5. B is 1. Start with B. Y-intercept is 1. And then this is already a fraction, which is good. So it's negative. So I'm going to go down 3 for every 5. So down 3 over 5. And then I like to backtrack for my ruler, up 3, back 5. Why do you think Mrs. Talbot put 2 negative ones in the review notes? That is a question, isn't it? Why would Mrs. Talbot put 2 negatives? Is it because we've had 2 quizzes now and a good portion of the class keeps forgetting the negative? Yeah, that's the reason. They're like going to think they're all negative now, but they're not, I swear. Anything from number 5 or 6 that you want to talk about? Did I screw anything up? Highly probable. Much higher than winning the lotto. Okay, flip the page. Okay, find the x and y intercepts of the line, then sketch the graph. Okay, so the x-intercept has y equal 0. So for the x-intercept, y equals 0. That means I'm going to put a 0 in right there in the y spot. 3x plus 2 times 0 equals -6. This just goes away, and I have 3x equals -6. Divide by 3, x equals -2. So that is the coordinate -2, 0. So you go in your coordinates x, y. Okay, now I'm going to switch colors for fun. For the y-intercept, it's the opposite, x equals 0. Three times 0 plus 2y equals -6. Two y, so this goes away. 2y equals -6. Divide by 2. Y equals -3. What's the coordinate for this one? For the y-intercept? Yep, 0, -3. Okay, so -2, 0 is here. 0, -3 is here. And then ruler time. Do you guys think that maybe that would be a good note for us? Yeah. Because I think that's one that's like, yeah, sure, sure. I think that that's one where you might get to the text and you might be like, oh, this is a good. Because we don't do it all the time. We definitely graph lines all the time. We definitely find slope all the time. We don't really do this all the time. So this might be a good one. But I have a challenge question. This is for my advanced students in here. Don't yell it out loud, raise your hand. What is the equation of this line in slope intercept form? What is it in y equals mx plus b?
Y equals, one and a half minus 3.
Close,
1.5
closer, still not correct. Yeah, So y equals negative 3/2x minus 3. Not too bad. Once you get the x and y intercepts, it's not too hard to find the equation because you can make a little slope triangle right between the two dots. It's not too bad. The only time that it's ever bad is if b ends up being a decimal or something weird, but we don't usually do that. Can you guys control yourselves with the straight edges, please? Otherwise,
Sure.
you're just gonna have wacky lines. Okay. Now, this problem, I don't really know why it's here. So slope is the letter M. Y-intercept is the letter B. Maybe that's why it's here. I don't know. That's the final answer. Not really sure what they're trying to get at there, other than maybe just to assign the letters M and B. I feel like that problem is so easy that you might get stuck on it. Because you're like, what do I even do here? There's nothing to do.
When I read it, I thought it was trying to find the X intercept.
Right, I see why you say that. How would we find the x-intercept for this one? We don't need to, but how would we do that? Back over here, what do we do to find the x-intercept? Substitute y for 0. So then I put a 0 here, and then I would add 5, and then I would times both sides by -4 probably, and then divide by 9 to get x. That would be really hard. That'd be like fancy business, but you could do it. Okay, moving on. Any questions about these two? Okay, now we have ones that actually need work. That's good. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line through the given point with the given slope. Okay, so when we do these problems, go over to the side and write m equals x equals y equals. On this problem, they give you the slope, so you have one less step than usual. Isn't that exciting? So the slope is -2, x is -3, and y is 4. Any questions about how I assign those? You're good? Okay. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, y is 4. M is -2. X is -3 plus b. Four equals 6 plus b. -6 minus 6 -2 equals b. What, honey? Are you sure? Mm-hmm. But you gotta watch me though, because I'm, mistake crazy over here. Luckily, I have people, I have math hawks in the room. Okay, final answer. Is this it? Do I get to walk away now? I found B. No, but I bet you it's gonna happen on the test. Y equals M X plus B. Okay, now number 10 is the one that you guys did on Tuesday a lot of on the whiteboards. So this is the one where they give you 2 points. You have to find the slope and then do the thing we just did. I wish they gave us a little more room, but I think I'll be fine. x1, y1, x2, y2, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I know I did that painfully slowly, but I did that painfully slowly because when I noticed you guys doing this on the whiteboard, the biggest mistake people made was not subtracting the slope properly. So making sure that you had subtraction and making sure that you remembered the negatives. So what is -5 minus -1? It's this -4. Yep. And what you can do in your mind is go -5 plus 1. 4 minus -4 is the same thing as 4 plus 4. Reduce -1/2. Okay, now I have to pick a point to be X and Y. It doesn't matter which point I pick. I just need to make sure that I pick either the first point or the second point. I can't pick something out of each. Which one do you like better? First one? Okay. -4, -1. -1 equals -1/2 times -4 plus b. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay. So first, do you guys know the negative times a negative makes a positive? Okay, what you do is you take the whole number times the top. So 4 times 1 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. Now you have a calculator, I know, but in math 3, we do tests and quizzes with no calculator. So this stuff is not going away. Yeah, I know. It's fine. -2, -2. We did a no calculator quiz yesterday. You should have seen the like mental math smoke coming out of the people. They were making tables. They were cubing numbers. It's great. Okay, what's the final answer of this guy? Gorgeous. Yeah, but we're gonna do quizzes, so. Sure. These two are hard. Okay. All right, here we go. Number 11, draw a graph for the following situation. Be sure to label your axes. These last two are the hardest two. We're going to cover a couple of different topics here. I'm going to try to go slow because we have ridiculous amounts of time, which is good. So it says, John left home and walked 4 miles to school at 2 miles per hour. Okay. What I want to do first is figure out what X is and what Y is for my graph. Okay, so I'm going to start by underlining those. This is a really hard question, but I know a couple of you can answer it. If I write 2 miles per hour, which one of those units will be on the top? Miles. Okay, that's not the hard question. Okay. In a slope, this is a slope because it's a rate, it's a speed. So which one of those is y and which one of those is x? Okay, but y are the, and you're correct, y are the hours, x. Okay. Well, it makes the most sense, but there's actually a reason. So come down here, you guys. So start with 2 miles, 1 hour. What do we say when we have a slope triangle? What is the slope from a slope triangle? Like when I draw the triangle, and I count the boxes, how do I find the slope? Rise over run. Okay. This is rise over run, which means that this is y over x. Up and down over left and right. Okay, that's why it's hours are x and miles are y. So this, you're going to label this hours and this miles. Okay, John left home and walked 4 miles to school at 2 miles per hour. So he started here. He walked 4 miles to school at 2 miles per hour. So you're going to go 2 miles for 1 hour, 2 miles for 1 hour. 2 miles per hour, 2 miles per hour. And why did I stop here at this dot? Yeah, because he walked 4 miles. So I have to stop at the 4 miles bit. Okay. Okay, now I want to review the concept of unit rate because that's on your test. Unit rate is the slope with a denominator of what? This one already is in the unit rate. In this case, the slope and the unit rate are the same thing. Well, they're always the same thing. It's just that the slope, the way it's given to you, is already unit rate. It's not going to be the other one. Do not ask me to go to the bathroom right now. No. Okay, good. Okay, 1 second. Give me 1 sec. Okay. He stayed there for 2 hours. Okay, so that means I'm going to have a flat line for 2 hours. Does that make sense to you guys? He was 4 miles away and he stayed 4 miles away for 2 hours. We're good? Okay. And what's the slope in that spot? 0. Okay, perfect. Okay, now this is the part, Jalen, I'm going to get to your question. Then walked home at 3 miles for 2 hours. So 3 miles for 2 hours. No, yeah, I did it right. Yeah. Is anyone going to tell me that it was negative? None of you? None of you are going to tell me that it was negative? Nobody saw the negative? Do you guys see why it's negative? Because he's going back home? Okay, so the slope is -3/2. But the unit rate, hopefully this will answer your question. What you do is you do -3 divided by 2. -3 divided by 2. Yep. So equals -1.5 miles per hour. Jalen, does that answer your question? Did you say yes? Yeah. Okay, so when it's already a 1 on the bottom, the unit rate and the slope are the same. When it's not a 1 on the bottom, the slope is the fraction, and the unit rate is what you get when you divide it, divide the fraction. Not that hard, right? Do you think maybe this is note card worthy though? Yeah. You might want to put a little star there next to it to remind yourself too. Because people always say to me, Mrs. Talbot, I don't know what to put on my note card. Okay, last one. Chicago uses 1.2 times 10 to the 9 gallons of water per day. How many gallons per second must be pumped from the lake every second to supply the city? That's a lot of water, by the way. I'm going to start this problem over here. 1.2 times 10 to the 9 gallons per day. 1 day. Okay, now what units need to go on the top for us to cancel out days? No, days need to go on the top to cancel out days. How many hours are I like where you're going though. How many hours are in a day? Okay, what unit's going on the top now? What do you want to put here? Minutes? Did anybody in the class want to say, go immediately from hours to seconds and say 3,600 seconds in a, no? It's totally fine to do that if you know there's 3,600 seconds in an hour. Please don't try to count the next 3,600 seconds in the next hour. That would be sad. Okay, now what do I do here? What do I do with this? It's all set up. It's beautiful. It's ready for the calculator. Do you know what to do? What do I do with the things on the top? Multiply. What do I do with the things on the bottom? Divide. One point two times 10 to the 9 divided by divided by 24, divided by 60, divided by 60. That's a lot of gallons in 1 second. Is anyone else in the class completely freaked out about the battery level of my calculator? I am living in dangerous territory here. Yours had, well, it should have a little button that looks like this. Yours is gonna look a little different. It's gonna put that little thing, but when you hit that button, you say to the in your mind. And it's gonna just put that little symbol there and 9, and you just have to know that it's gonna do it. So if you want to practice it, go like 2 to the 3 on your calculator, make sure that you get 8 so that you see that you can trust that it's doing it right. Okay. That is called a carrot, by the way, not to be confused with the thing that horses eat and not to be confused with the thing on a diamond. This is CARET, which is an up arrow. Anyway, okay. Now, I have a couple of people who need to use the bathroom. You're first. Okay, you're gonna do that super fast because we're gonna do a quizzes in just a moment. So you guys hold tight for a second. I'm gonna put the quizzes thing up.